Welcome to our soothing bedtime story podcast, a gentle space where you can unwind and allow the weight of the day to drift away. As you settle in for a peaceful night, I invite you to let go of any lingering thoughts. You're in a safe and serene moment, and I'm grateful you've chosen to join us. First, find a comfortable position, whether you're nestled under cozy blankets or lounging in your favorite chair. Allow your body to relax and feel supported. Now take a deep breath in, filling your lungs completely, and softly release it. Feel the subtle release of any tension as you exhale, as if you're letting go of a gentle breeze. Let's do this a couple more times. Inhale deeply and exhale slowly, feeling your body sink deeper into relaxation. As you breathe, imagine a warm, golden light enveloping you, wrapping you in a comforting embrace. With each inhalation, visualize this light growing brighter and filling your entire being with calm. And as you exhale, imagine that golden light expanding outward, creating a tranquil space around you. Free from worries or distractions, picture a serene landscape where the sound of a gentle stream flows nearby, its waters sparkling under a soft, moonlit glow. The air is fresh and cool, carrying the scent of blooming flowers and tall grass. You can hear the gentle rustle of leaves in the breeze, creating a soothing symphony that lulls you into a serene state. Remember, in this moment, you have all the time you need to relax. There are no expectations, no rush, just this peaceful space where you can let your mind wander and settle. So take another soft breath in and let it out, knowing that you are safe and embraced by the warmth of our cozy world. Tonight, we'll journey together into a calming story, inviting tranquility as we drift into sweet dreams. In a quiet village tucked away between rolling hills and silvery streams, lived an enchanting spirit named Ilara. Ilara called a charming little cottage her home, with a sturdy wooden door framed by blooming vines that danced lightly in the evening breeze. Each sunset, the sky above her cottage melted into brilliant shades of lavender and soft peach, casting a calm glow over her world. As dusk gentle settled in, Ilara took a moment to gaze out of her window, watching the shimmering stars begin to prick the darkening canvas of the sky. She smiled softly, feeling the serenity of the night embrace her. Turning away from the window, she drifted over to the small kitchen, the heart of her home, where comforting aromas awaited. She reached for her favorite teapot, a delicate piece adorned with tiny flowers, as she filled it with fresh water. The coolness of the ceramic felt reassuring in her hands. Setting it on the stove, she breathed in the soft, earthy notes of the herbal tea she had chosen for the evening, a blend of chamomile and lavender, promising tranquility. With each sip, the kettle whistled gently, a quiet encouragement to pour the steaming water over the fragrant leaves. The warmth enveloped her, wrapping her in a soothing blanket of scent that danced around her like a gentle whisper. While the tea steeped, Ilara stepped outside onto her porch, where soft wooden planks creaked beneath her feet. The night air was cool and crisp, the kind that carried with it sweet fragrances of twinkling blossoms and fresh earth. Glancing upwards, she marveled at the night sky, speckled with glimmering stars and the watchful moon, whose silver light seemed to glide through the trees. A gentle rustle caught her attention as a small figure emerged from the shadows. Her beloved cat, Whiskers, padded softly toward her. His fur glimmered like freshly fallen snow, and his presence was a soothing balm to her heart. She lifted him into her arms, and his soothing warmth settled against her chest. A comforting rhythm matching her own heartbeat, Elara could feel the soft vibration of his gentle purring echo around them, weaving a spell of peace into the tranquil night, serenading her like a melodic lullaby. They stood together, enjoying the simplicity of the moment, watching as fireflies began to dance in the warm dusk. They twinkled like tiny stars caught within the confines of the earth, their flickering lights shining brightly against the darkening canvas. The world felt alive yet hushed, as if time itself had paused to breathe with them. As the tea timer chimed softly from within, Elara carried Whiskers back inside and set him down, watching as he curled comfortably on his favorite sun-dappled chair, abandoning the world for a fleeting dream. She poured her herbal brew into a delicate mug, watching the steam swirl upward, carrying with it the calming aroma that filled her cozy cottage. With each sip, warmth spread through her body, wrapping her like a comforting shawl, the flavors mingling on her tongue, soothing her at the end of the day. Elara meandered to her plush armchair by the window, the golden light from an oil lamp flickering gently as she settled in, pulling a soft plaid blanket over her lap. Outside, night wrapped its arms around the earth, the sounds of the stream flowing softly, harmonizing with the different calls of nocturnal creatures. The rich scent of pine mingled with the herbal tea, creating an inviting cocoon where she felt utterly at peace. Gently, she lifted a soft book from the side table, its well-loved spine creased with the signs of its many readings. As she turned the pages, the sound was reminiscent of a whisper, each leaf brushing against the other like the soft rustling of leaves outside. Her eyes roamed over the words, bringing forth stories that whisked her away to distant lands. Yet all the while, she stayed anchored in this safe, serene space. Time drifted lazily, and the walls of her cottage seemed to breathe, each exhalation visible in the dancing shadows cast by the oil lamp. Elara felt the soft embrace of sleep wrapping around her like an enveloping blanket, urging her to surrender to the calm. She paused in her reading, closing her eyes, allowing the gentle cadence of her breath to guide her into a blissful stillness. The world outside her window continued to serenade her, the soft rustle of leaves and the distant trickle of water weaving together into a lullaby. With her heart full and peaceful, she placed the book softly on her lap, leaning back in her chair as Whiskers stirred slightly in his sleep, nestling deeper into the warmth of his cozy corner. Elara took another deep breath, relishing the tranquility of her home, where warmth, love, and gentle moments filled the air. She felt the golden light around her gently brighter, offering comfort and safety as she prepared to welcome the sweet embrace of dreams. As the evening continued to unfold, she knew that this was just the beginning, a tranquil evening to reflect upon and treasure, grounding her in serenity, readying her for the restful night ahead. With her heart aglow and her spirit light, she allowed herself to drift deeper into this comforting stillness, inviting the peaceful night to cradle her, and beckoning in the beautiful tapestry of dreams yet to come. Elara sank deeper into her chair, the gentle crinkle of her blanket a soothing sound as her gaze wandered out the window, tracing the outline of trees silhouetted against the starry sky. Each twinkling star whispered of a story, a journey taken across the cosmos, and she felt a soft connection to them, as if they sparkled just for her, lighting up the evening and reflecting her own inner stillness. Her thoughts meandered like the stream nearby, gliding over the gentle currents of her day. The moments, small yet precious, began to surface. She recalled the vibrant hues of her garden, where she had spent the afternoon tending to the blooming flowers. The feel of the earth crumbling between her fingers was a grounding comfort, a reminder of life's simple joys. The sun had kissed her skin, and in the stillness of her labor, she felt attuned to nature's heartbeat, her worries melting away with each weed gently pulled. She smiled softly at the memory of the butterflies flitting about the blossoms, their delicate wings painting the air with whispers of color and movement, each a tiny marvel of creation. The sight had filled her with gratitude for the life that surrounded her, for the beauty held in the smallest of creatures. That fleeting, graceful dance of nature resonated within her heart, reminding Elara of the joy found in momentary connections to the world around her. Her mind wandered to the encounter she had with a farmer earlier that day. She remembered the warmth of his smile, the kindness he radiated as they exchanged greetings at the market. They spoke of the bountiful harvest, laughter spilling over like soft petals in the breeze. Elara treasured the simplicity of the conversation, the easy connection that allowed their spirits to mingle in shared joy. In a world that spun with haste, those gentle moments felt like a rare treasure, illuminating her day with warmth and affection. Returning to her tea, Elara took a slow sip, savoring its floral notes that danced on her tongue. The warmth spread from her cup into her hands, and then through her entire being, a reminder of the gentle pleasures that life so often gifted her. With each sip, she allowed her heart to open, feeling gratitude flood through her for the simple act of pausing, of being fully present in this moment. The aroma filled her senses, calming her spirit as she inhaled the soothing fragrance of nature, transformed into liquid warmth. As the evening shadows lengthened, Elara brought her attention back to the stillness enveloping her cottage. The fireflies continued their soft dance outside, a dazzling display of light against the velvet sky, each flicker sending waves of calm through her. She imagined them whispering secrets to one another, their tiny bodies glowing like distant stars brought down to earth to share a bit of wonder. This world felt alive, yet infinitely still, a realm where time paused just for her. Elara closed her eyes, inhaling deeply the peacefulness that surrounded her. The song of the night, a calming hum of crickets, and the distant rustle of leaves intertwined. As she exhaled, she imagined sending her gratitude into the night. Bits of light swirling into the universe, connecting her to all that was good and kind in her life. Soon, she thought of the laughter shared with friends over afternoon tea, the way their voices mingled like notes in a gentle melody. Each chuckle and sigh formed an invisible thread of connection, wrapping her in a warm embrace, reminding her how priceless it was to nurture relationships, those gifts that spark vibrancy and joy into everyday moments. Elara reflected on her cozy cottage with tender affection. The walls held stories of laughter, love, and solitude, safeguarding each cherished memory like delicate treasures. The familiar creak of the floorboards beneath her, the gentle play of light and shadow cast by the flickering lamp, all brought forth a sense of home, a reminder that she was rooted in this space, embraced by all that brought her comfort. With every passing moment, her eyelids grew heavier. The warmth in her heart settled gently, inviting her to sink even deeper into relaxation. She felt a profound stillness envelop her as she let the soft cocoon of calmness inside her expand outward, cradling her like a lullaby. Tiny motes of sleep began to twinkle around her, echoing the sparkling stars above. Elara took one last quiet glance out at the shimmering sky, capturing its beauty in her memory. The world would sleep now, all would be well, and so would she. Inhaling one last soothing breath, she allowed herself to welcome the peace of the night, preparing to slip into the comfort of sweet dreams, as gentle whispers of her day nestled softly in her heart. And as she leaned into the embrace of the evening, the golden light around her dimmed softly, ready to guide her into restful repose, where the magic of dreams awaited, wrapping her in a celestial dance of tranquility, a reminder of the beauty found in the simple moments of every day. As Elara embraced the quietude, her heart began to synchronize with the rhythmic pulse of the earth around her. She let her thoughts float like autumn leaves, drifting gently, each one a reflection of the serene wonder that enveloped her. The changing seasons stirred memories within her, each turn of the wheel of nature echoing a lesson of resilience and renewal. She recalled the brisk air of fall, when the branches danced naked against a backdrop of fiery hues, a poignant reminder that letting go could be beautiful too. The cycle of life whispered softly, teaching her that shedding the old makes way for the new. Each season, with its distinctive song, felt like a compassionate friend sharing its wisdom. As winter descended with its quiet grace, blanketing the world in soft white, Elara felt the stillness settle within her too. There was a profound beauty in the cold, the way it invited tranquility and contemplation. It was a time of rest and reflection, a sacred pause for nature to rejuvenate. She remembered how the frost sparkled in the first rays of dawn, the entire world waking up anew. each spark a reminder that slow moments held their own magic. With a gentle sigh, she turned her gaze back to the fireflies now swirling outside the window, their light twinkling with the essence of summer, the season of abundance, laughter, and warmth. Each flickering glow danced with joy, a reflection of her spirit as it harmonized with the gentle whispers of the breeze. In summer, life flourished everywhere. Vibrant flowers burst into color, and the air hummed with promise. Elara embraced the vitality that season bestowed upon her, a celebration of living fully and gratefully. The tender embrace of spring danced in her mind, as well a time of awakening, when all was born anew. The flowers pushed forth from the earth, breaking through the crusted soil to greet the sun. Elara cherished the moments spent among the blossoms, watching as life resurrected itself from winter's slumber. It was a reminder that transformation lies within each of us, waiting patiently to emerge into the light. Feeling the embrace of these memories, Elara sank deeper into her soft chair, allowing her thoughts to unfold like petals kissed by morning dew. She admired nature's harmony, how each part of the cycle played a vital role in the grand tapestry of life. Each season knew its place and time, weaving a rich narrative of perseverance, beauty, and grace. Elara felt a swell of gratitude as she contemplated this wondrous dance. The weaving connections of the world echoed the relationships in her life. Friends, family, and the small, joyous moments shared with others formed a kaleidoscope of experiences, each contributing to the vibrancy of her existence. She marveled at how resilience radiated through them all, much like the seasons that transitioned so seamlessly. There were times of joy and laughter, and times of solitude and reflection, yet all were integral threads stitching her heart together. As she sipped the remnants of her tea, warmth spread like a golden glow through her body, and she savored the last lingering notes of chamomile and lavender, comforting her very soul. Elara felt the stillness of the evening wrap around her, like a soft cocoon, encouraging her to drift deeper into calmness. It was a tender reminder that the moments of pause held wisdom and solace, where she could find space for renewal. Outside, nature continued its serenade, creating a harmonious backdrop that mingled with the rich scent of the earth. The air was perfumed with the memory of sunlit days and rain-soaked soil, each inhalation an invitation to rest and reflect, to connect her spirit with the universe that surrounded her. The night sky above, a vast expanse of possibilities, engaged her imagination, unraveling visions of infinite stars, their twinkling light offering comfort and inspiration. Elara focused on her breath, allowing her awareness to sink deeper into this expansive universe. She counted each inhalation as a gentle embrace from the cosmos, filling her with serenity and love, a reminder that she was never truly alone. With each exhale, she envisioned releasing worries, their weight dissipating into the vastness of the night, a quiet surrender to the unfolding journey of being. In this space, Elara felt her heart align with the night's heartbeat, each rhythm guiding her further into tranquility. The warmth of her beloved cottage encapsulated her, a sanctuary that held her hopes and dreams, cradling them delicately like a soft lullaby. She allowed the soft embrace of the universe to fill her with light, preparing to surrender to the sweet realm of dreams that awaited her gently as the stars winked knowingly, embracing their place in the skies. Ilara's eyelids fluttered, the pull of sleep beckoning her forth. The golden light that had surrounded her dimmed softly, like a warm hug from the universe, whispering promises of rest and renewal. Each moment stitched into the fabric of her day seeped into her consciousness, a beautiful reminder of life's countless connections, shared moments that lingered like fragrant memories. The gentle night cradled her, and as she leaned back in her chair, the serene sensation of drifting enveloped her, like the sweet notes of a lullaby, guiding her into the embrace of dreams. With a heart full of gratitude and acceptance, Ilara slipped into that soft embrace, ready to float through the night's tapestry of wonder, where imagination and peace would intertwine, weaving a joyful quilt of tranquility around her. In this stillness, in the embrace of nature, the universe offered its gentle caress, cradling her spirit like the softest dream. In the vast expanse of night, she was home, connected, and alive, a beautiful part of the endless cycle of life. And as she surrendered to the night, she welcomed the journey ahead, open to the stories and dreams awaiting her, ready to embrace the serene dance of the moments yet to come. As the peaceful night settled in around her, Ilara allowed herself to lean into the comforting depths of her cozy chair, feeling cradled by every gentle curve. The little room, softly illuminated by the flickering oil lamp, wrapped her in warmth, a sanctuary against the cool evening air. With the quilt drawn over her lap, she felt as though she were swaddled in a cloud, light and soft, enveloping her completely. The quilt, stitched with care, carried the memories of countless nights like this one. It was adorned with playful patterns, each patch a memory, a heartbeat of her life, lovingly woven together. The fabric felt blissfully welcoming against her skin, and as she nestled deeper, she could almost hear the echoes of laughter that had once filled this space. Each thread whispered comfort, wrapping her in the assurance of rest and peace. Ilara's gaze drifted back to the window, where the deep indigo sky seemed to draw ever closer, inviting her into its serene embrace. The stars twinkled brightly like diamonds scattered upon velvet, and she imagined them as gentle guardians, keeping a watchful eye over her dreams and adventures. The soft sound of the stream nearby serenaded her with its melodic flow, a gentle backdrop to the tranquility that enveloped her. With the flowing water came the sweet, earthy scent of the night, a mixture of damp moss and blooming honeysuckle, airy and fragrant, as if the very earth whispered secrets in the stillness. As she sank further into her chair, Ilara's mind began to quiet, each thought drifting like a feather in the wind, isolating itself from the day's bustle. She took a deep breath, the air entering her lungs fresh and clean, filling her with tranquility. With released remnants of the day, a sigh escaping her lips as she felt her shoulders drop, the weight of her worries melting away, carried off on the soothing breeze that filtered through her window. Whiskers, her trusty feline companion, stirred from his dreamy slumber in the golden patch of light nearby, stretching luxuriously before padding over to her. His soft fur felt like delightful silk against her fingertips as he curled invitingly in her lap, purring contentedly as if sharing the calm that blanketed their home. The warmth radiating from him was another anchor of comfort. His gentle presence reminded her that she was cherished, surrounded by love and companionship that kept the shadows of the night at bay. As Whiskers nestled closer, Ilara felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude envelop her heart, a deep appreciation for the little things, the moments that stitched her life together. She thought of the laughter shared over warm meals, the joy of blooming flowers in her garden, the soft rustle of leaves as they danced in the breeze, and the gentle embrace of evening surrounded by nature's harmony. With her eyes half closed, Ilara let her thoughts unclench like soft petals opening to the dawn. She envisioned the world outside, the gentle glow of fireflies illuminating the night, winking in soft rhythm against the deepening darkness. The night sounds around her formed a soft symphony, crickets serenading one another, the distant call of an owl echoing through the trees, and the ever-present whisper of the gentle stream. Each sound enveloped her in a feeling of safety, reminding her that all was well, that she could let go and find solace in the arms of the nighttime. The flickering lamp cast soft shadows in her room, dancing gently as if agreeing with her heart's desire to rest and dream. The familiar hum of life outside persisted, yet within her space, time stilled. The world outside continued its gentle sway, while inside her cozy haven, each moment appeared to stretch into eternity, the perfect invitation to surrender. As her eyelids grew heavier, she took one last deep breath, allowing the pristine air to fill her lungs completely. She felt the warm glow surround her like a halo, coaxing her deeper into the comfort of her chair, into the serene fabric of the night. In this moment of perfect stillness, where love and warmth fused seamlessly around her, she released the last remnants of her thoughts, inviting them to drift softly away. Good night, dear listener. May the whispers of the night cradle you into dreamland, where peace wraps around you like a soft quilt, and every star becomes a gentle guardian of your slumber. Allow yourself to drift away, knowing you are cherished and at rest. Embrace the beauty of this stillness, and let the melody of the night serenade you into sweet, sweet dreams.